top left-hand position as the red Protoss. We have White Raw. We are ready. We are excited, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited. Freddie, are you excited?
I am so excited. Andre.
Yeah, you said it. In the top right-hand corner, we have the purple Terran Complexity QXC, who is up 1-0. Now, here's something interesting. I lose a game PVT. I start out on Ohana. I go to Shakur's Plateau.
Yeah. Why? It's really interesting because Shakur's Plateau is so hard to attack into Terran because they can split the map, they can defend the ramp really easily. They have lots of areas, especially with that one little cliff that juts out. That tank can really put some wonky things, especially for drops. But look at what we have immediately. What do we have? Is it a proxy Marauder rush?
It is.
Oh, I love proxy
so I know
Marauders.
you've done this for the last 40 of your games. Why don't you tell us a little about it? What's the insight into this?
All right, well, the biggest thing is that with it, you just basically punish a Protoss that doesn't go for a Zealot early on. If they try to be greedy and sneak out a Stalker and try to expand off of that, which isn't really that common, a lot of Protoss go for Zealot Stalker initially to poke at Terran. But you can just straight up die, just because one Marauder beats one Stalker straight up.
Correct.
And then eventually you can slow push your way in. And the idea is, if Protoss allows you, you can snowball. And if Protoss tries to play really greedy, which is really common in today's metagame, a lot of Protosses love going Nexus first, love going like one gate into straight Nexus without even any units. If they ever do anything like that, you win. If they take a delayed gas, you win because you can kite Zealots indefinitely. If you get up that bunker, you do incredible damage. Now, you don't have to necessarily like do everything like destroy his gateway and cybernetics core, but you can just do everything while expanding and teching back at home, even getting production. And it's just a good build, I think, as long as you can hide it. Now, White Raw did scout pretty early, and he sees everything his opponent's doing, so he knows what's
Correct. He should know exactly what his opponent is capable of, which is the Marauder Rush. And there you see the Chrono Boost up on that gateway. He's trying to get Stalkers out ASAP.
Yeah.
And actually, I think the double gateway opening is the best way to actually open this up against any Marauder pressure. Because not only does it give you the ability to defend against this, it actually gives you the ability to pressure up. When you only go one gateway, it's actually really difficult because you could potentially lose or win against that push, and then your opponent has a good way to... What?
Sick bait trap from QXC. He's like, oh, I only have one Marauder, but Concussive Shell finished just in time. And that's pretty much the exact timing of it. 2 Marauders is how long it takes to make Concussive Shells finish. And oh, looks like QXC trying to run as fast as he can. Now the Marauder has to stay alive. QXC sending a couple more SUVs. And you can see that White Raw still staying on one gate. This is spawning way out of control. 3 Marauders makes it so that you can almost one-shot a probe. If you get 4 out, then it's game over. But you can see White Raw does manage to deal with it. So very good job from White Raw thus far. He forces the bunker to stop it producing at this point. And White Raw looks like he's stabilized.
Yeah, he is suffering a lot of losses, though.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is QXC loses a lot from doing this type of push.
Yeah.
And not only that, he loses a lot of momentum. This Tech Lab over here, he can't really make anything from it unless he starts it super early. And look at this, White Raw is just going to put down his Nexus, knowing his opponent really doesn't have a lot of options directly after this.
I think that's a little bit too greedy, just because the biggest thing at least when you do this push is that if you go straight for the high ground, QXC is going for kind of a Hail Mary. If that bunker goes up, that's it, because you can slow push. Marauders have 7 range, Stalkers can never approach it, and so you basically can just push your way into win. But usually a lot of people start stuff on the low ground. That's what Flash did in the Kespa Invitational. You start that bunker on the low ground, and the whole idea is you control this low ground so well, and I don't think White Rock can really confront this army directly if QXC was focusing, but actually he left that Stalker live for a long time. So good job there from White Raw. And you can see White Raw is at this point is going up to 3 gates, which is a smart thing to do as well.
He's way ahead, actually. Stim has started up over here. As you can see, Stim isn't going to be finished. And a Reaper is actually being made. I like this choice. He's just going to scout out, see exactly what his opponent's deviation is after this. Now, on normal maps, I would say, okay, White Raw, just go sentries. There's no way your opponent can stop it. Go sentries, do a 2-base timing. But on a map like Shigura's Plateau, it's actually very easy to stop something like this. So I am a little bit worried where his transition is going to be, but overall I think White Raw is pretty well ahead in this game.
Yeah, we do see a pretty healthy probe advantage. Now the big thing of what really didn't make QXC that cost efficient is that he sent those extra SUVs, and he sent I think 3 extra, and he lost them anyways. And so that kind of like evened the probe counts early on, because again QXC was trying to go for that huge Hail Mary of getting that bunker on top of the ramp. That said, QXC does have his barracks back at home. It's not like he's completely defenseless. I remember the first time I did this, Andre, I was like, yeah, all right, he held it off, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to make everything back at home, and I had nothing back at home. And I was like, okay, well, that's obviously not a good way to follow it up, because I went straight for command center. So
yeah. And then there's like the most giant timing that your opponent can hit you, right?
yeah, it's like he sends like 1's out, 1 stalker, and I just lose everything.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
silly.
this position, this is what I was talking about. If he actually went 2 gateways before, instead of doing 1 gate expansion, he's able to actually capitalize off of this, because he knows, well, if you want an expansion behind this, you're going to be behind, because I went 2 gate and then I'm expanding, right? I can do pressure and probably kill you at that point. If you don't take an expansion, go additional gateway units, well, you'll be able to see it, number 1, and on top of that, you will be able to defend it while still keeping your expansion up. So it's just a better alternative, in my opinion, when you're against proxy racks than anything else. And you know, QXC thankfully isn't going against that. White Raw is just playing completely standard. Forge and Twilight Council is going down. Meanwhile, the robotics facility is just pumping out observers so he can go and check out his opponent's base.
QXC showing one of his barracks, the one that he did proxy, but he does get a pretty good informational view of what his opponent's doing. Now, Shakura's Plateau is a map where Colossi pushes are deadly. Like, I can't even begin to describe how powerful they are, especially because you have lots of ability to poke at the NASL from such a safe distance. And this is like a map back when that Squirtle push, where you go 3-gate robo straight into Colossus, can be deadly. But we can see that White Raw is not opting for that. He's instead going for +1 armor and charge. And White Raw really favoring that Twilight Council upgrade. Really to just, I guess, be safe against any kind of mid-game timing.
Which is, again, very standard. He's not really capitalizing on any of the advantages that he has right now. But White Raw has always been known to, you know, do whatever he wants. Of course, that's where special tactics comes in. Or it's just the most hilarious thing in the world. Starcraft 1 reference, but of course he's made it popular in Starcraft 2. So it's state of the game. But I think, you know, overall White Raw is looking fine. I do think he needs to go some AoE, especially against the build that his opponent is doing. As we can see, whoa! Thor.
Yeah, Thor. And Thors don't square up that well against Immortals, but Thor is a lot of DPS, especially with 30 damage per shot. So QXC is going to go for a Marine Marauder Thor push, and he's sending all his SCVs. Oh, not all of them, so starting a portion of the SCVs. I saw a huge chunk. But this is so interesting. I've never seen this, like a Thor push, in a long time. This is like a beta build in the sense, but people actually did it with like a lot less units. This is kind of cool.
It's kind of crazy, man. High Templars are on the way out, though.
QXC, man.
It is. It's very much
That's
QXC.
so QXC. A new meme pops up with QXC, like looking. It's like, oh, that's so QXC, man.
Man, this is so weird. Oh, and a big scan. Oh, he takes out. Whoa! He almost took out one of the
High Templars.
sentries.
Oh, he did take out a sentry, didn't he?
No, he got it down super low.
Oh,
bad concave.
Matter. Ooh, he does get a feedback off, but the Thors are not even able to reach the. Oh my God! Actually, wow, this is incredible. I thought, you know, the Thor would be able to target the Marauders. So the Thor would be able to target down the Immortals with no shields, but it even matters. Just so much raw DPS, and White Raw gets completely crushed in this attack from QXC. I'm just so floored, and I don't know what to say. Just because this build, I haven't seen a variation of this in so long, and QXC is impressing very much so. And QXC just has this incredible opening, and what can White Raw do? He's sending all of his probes to get first round, but probes against his army doesn't really do much. That might be it. I mean, QXC is pushing up here, and he's just going to kill White Raw.
This is one of the weirdest builds I've ever seen before.
Yeah, I mean,
But
White Raw's still
kudos
trying to
QXC.
stay into it. And even if he cleans everything up, though, he suffered huge losses. The SCVs are still repairing. Oh, man, the nightmares are coming back when SCVs made Thors untargetable as long as you had Zealots. You can see this Nexus is about to drop, but QXC is not going to be done just yet. He can walk up this ramp and really try to force the game here. You can see White Rod warping in Archons, but Archons, is that really what you want against the Thor? I guess it's to prevent from getting kited with the Marauders, but I mean, there's just, again, so much raw DPS from that Thor, and White Rod trying to use the AoE to really clear out the SCVs. A nice heads-up play, but it's not going to be enough. And there it is, GG, well played. QXC takes game number 2, 2-0 over White Rod, and secures the spot in NASL.
You know, you can tell QXC was a former Root member from that build. That was just, like, clever. I've never seen that before. I actually would love to actually go into that.
I'm going to remember
I don't know if, if it's theoretically sound.
I have a new build in TVP, Andre. Let's play TVP after this game.
I would gladly play.
We practiced TVP yesterday, and Andre crushed me, but yeah.
We practiced TVZ as well.
That's true. Which is worse, Andre, my TVZ or TVP?
Your TVZ was...
My TVZ is awful. I don't know what... I was like, oh, I'm so lost. I'm like, oh, should I send units now? Nope. I'm like, all right, next game I'll try another timing. Nope. I'll try another timing. Nope. 6 games later. Andre's like, go one more time. I'm like, no, man, I ran out of ideas.
I was like, hey, dude, you can start out 2 racks. I don't care. You can do SCV Marine all in.
Not like this.
He's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I'm
not going to do it. I'm like, no, dude, it's really important to actually know how to 2 racks.
You know why I didn't win, Andre? Because I didn't have an AZO monitor playing on it. Thank you, AZO, for providing everything for NASL in terms of monitors and monitor production technology. We'll be back with another series today and also more segments. We have You Heard next. So we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. More action from NASL Week 9 is about to wrap up, but we have a lot of action right when we return.